All right, this is Sarah Poff, and I've been out by the lake today having a good time, and then I started watching the sunset, and then I decided I'd just come home and start a painting. I've got some pets that I've watched by the reflection of the water. They weren't mine, but they're pretty cool to watch those pets just sitting there watching the sunset just like I was. All right, let's get ready to paint. All right, hey, we're ready to do this painting now. We're going to be out by the lake is what our painting's about. And maybe you would like one pet, or maybe you would like two pets, or you may have a choice of a different pet that you want to put, or I even thought it might be fun to have a child there. Just a child sitting from the back side. So let's get started. We use the canvas boards is what I use. And I just use big things of paint, and I stay with the basic colors, and I just use assorted brushes, and then we just make it happen. We try to do this in about an hour, which means we don't always have as much shading and all as you might like. However, you could always add that in later if you wanted more shading, more detail in it. We just get the basics put in. All right, so I've been working on getting my cat and my dog. I'm going to just draw something similar to what I did before. And if this is on video, so you could also stop the video and you could draw your pet that you want there. And you could actually cut them out on paper if you wanted, and then just like trace around them. You know, just draw them, cut them out, trace around them. I have a whole collection of items like that at my house that I go back to. Sometimes I redraw something and I want it. I'm trying to teach my granddaughter about things like that. I'm going to kind of give myself a little bit of a landscape line here. And I'm going to go for here, where the water meets the trees. We want that. And then we want a big, as the sun goes down, the moon comes up, however you want to see that. We've got that up there, and then we'll add that tree in later because we want to get the background colors going in here first. So I like to use the fairly big brushes, especially on the back part. Some people call it back painting, but you're trying to get some of this. My brush is a little wet, which I've been having trouble with my canvas being dry, so I'm just going to take it across like this. I hope you're having fun in the summertime, and as we move into the time of year that we can go out on the lake. I love the reflection of the water. All right, so I'm going to do this white, and I'm just going to go ahead and start with this paintbrush because I can do it. If I go out of lines a little bit, I'm going to be coming around it anyway. And I'm going to put just a touch of yellow. I don't want a lot, because I want that to be a whiter color, like this. All right, and then I'm going to just start painting across, like this. I want to add some toned down yellow. I don't want it quite as bright as that. Maybe I want a little, let's see, little touch of orange in there. Because I don't want these to be like hugely bold primary colors. I want us to think about the sky when we see them. Okay. And I don't want to forget that I want to come back down here. I want the reflection in the water. So if it's too yellow, what do I want to do? I want to add a little white. Sometimes I need to switch to a different brush. I can even get out of the lines a little bit here because we're going to be painting those, the shadows, so we're going to be painting those black here in a little bit. Just making it blend across. I guess I should be singing blend, 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 blend those colors together. We want just kind of that, like we would see the blending in the sunset at night, or maybe the sunrise. I've been reading and listening, and they're just talking about how good it is for us to see the sunrise and the sunset. That it's just good for a lot of things in life. So I've been trying every morning to get up before time and peeking out the curtain just as the sun's starting to come up, and then watch it go down at night. Sometimes I like to peek out as I'm making my coffee, and I get to see the moon. Sometimes it's that big old ball moon that's so cool looking. Dab, 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 a dab, a dab, a doo. So my joke that I like to tell about singing and painting comes from teaching in an elementary classroom. I had a little boy who I was close to the end of school, and I was always just trying to encourage them to keep their artwork going, because they'd want to, like, in the middle, they'd want to just like quit. They wouldn't want to finish, and they wouldn't they're having trouble staying on task and focusing. So what I started doing is I started singing. So I would sing to them, just kind of like some of these tunes I make up when I'm doing the paintings. And the one little boy piped up. It's kind of close to the end of school one time. And he's like, Miss Poff, I'm so sorry. You didn't get to be the music teacher. Oh! And I thought to myself, I'm glad I'm not the music teacher. I don't like singing. He really didn't have a clue what I was trying to do. Just trying to keep him going, keeping him on task. That's what I was doing. So I guess I accomplished my goal, because he didn't even know. And he stayed on task. Let's see. Now, what next here? Just kind of blending some of that out. Okay, what's your favorite lake to go to? Or maybe you like the ocean. I still remember the first time I got to see the ocean, the moon, on the Atlantic Ocean. Oh my goodness, I'd never seen anything like that. You know, just a good old girl from the Midwest, and never been a place like that before. And I was in Florida for a beach ministry when I was in college, and let's see, I think that was like 1976, to be exact. And I was just in awe of it. I just had not seen such a beautiful sight as that. Now, sometimes if I feel my paint getting thick, I dip my brush in there, but I do come back, or at least I try to remind myself to come back and and dab it because sometimes it doesn't work right if I don't. Okay, I'm going to add a little blue in here. Turquoisey blue, which if you don't have a turquoise blue, you can do green. Add a little green and blue together until you get to what you want. That's, I'll just take a little green, add a little blue to it, and just a little at a time, and you can come up with it. Okay, now I want to start in on some blue, more of a true blue. Sometimes I think you could play with these kind of sunset colors for a while. Because you'll look at it and they're like, oh, well, maybe if I add. And of course, the sky changes so quickly. So quickly. And see, I can go on top of the animals because remember we're going to make, that's a shadow, so we're going to make that black anyway, so we'll be okay on that. Okay, I want to add in some pink. Just kind of do some more blending. This has got some water in it. Okay, I think I have more water than I want, so I'm going to do like this. Okay. Then I'm going to come back with my brush. I want to come back pretty quick because I want it to not have those designs in it. Okay, I want a small brush so I can get up closer to the moon, the sun, which I guess in this one we would be doing the sun. I think more of us would see the sunset go down on a lake than to be up in time for the early morning. Just streaking some of it through. Trying to come really close to my sun. I'm going to just go around it like this, and then I'm going to draw out the lines to the side. I'm going to take another brush that has some white in it to do some of that. All right, now I want to see, I want to add in this and this. I think is my next spot. Just trying to keep blending is what I'm trying to do. Okay, try to blend some similar colors over on this side. Okay. Now I need a little bit more blending, so I'm going to add in a little white. So pretty at night when the colors all come together. Okay. All right, I'm going to dry it just a little bit and then start with some of that background. So here we go. All right, I think we got most of that first coat on there. I'm going to come back with a kind of a brown wash, add a little bit of water into mine. I don't want to use that one because that's the one I was using for the sky. I'm going to look for me a different little brush here I can use, because I want it light enough that I can see a little bit of the shadows in here. So I'm going to take a little brown and the gold. Remember, the gold is some of the brown and the yellow kind of put together. Okay. And I think what I'm going to do is just take these brushes that we washed just a few minutes ago. They have quite a bit of water. So I'm just going to rub them across like that. Then I'm going to rub this on top. Touched it to the water. Okay. Now, kind of blending it together here. I'm going to touch a little bit of green. Now, as I get up here closer, there is some green here. So I'm going to add a little bit of green like this. Then I'm going to come in with some more brown. And then I'll come in with some more green. All right. So then my brown brush. Oh, here it is. coming across, coming across. Okay, I'm gonna touch the black because I think I want just a little bit. I like to see different colors and tones in it when we're doing something like this. Just be careful how much you add. Because remember, we want to be able to see those shadows. And remember that you can take, just like I was talking about with the paper towel, you can take that paper towel before it dries, just kind of rub some of it back out. That's a technique that certainly can be used. Okay. All right, so now the next thing I think I want to add, this green row of trees up here. So there's a little bit of brownish color here along the landscape line. Okay. And then what I want to do is I want to paint green like the hills, but I'm going to add in where we see some trees that might be compared to evergreen trees. So I'm just going to kind of go up and down for right now. Then I want a low spot here where we see the sun going down. I mean, you could draw this out and pre-plan some of it. However, it is sometimes fun just to watch how it just kind of happens. Okay, I'm going to touch the water. I'm not getting a lot. I'm just getting a little. I don't want a lot. I just want to be able to spread my green across there. So I'm just trying to make it like the ups and downs. If you have a special place, I know like one of these days I need to paint. My dad's people are from southwest Missouri, down at a place called Brewing River. They actually live next gravel road over from there. And they have all the hills, and there's certain names for the certain ones. And, you know, one of these days I think I want to paint it and be more specific with, you know, putting those hills in and naming them. Because one of those is actually, one of the gaps over there is actually named after my family. So that's a goal. Okay, I'm going to add a little more brown. Looks like I got a little red in there too. Okay. Right now I'm going to get a little bit smaller brush to kind of go along the edge there. Kind of make it a little bit more of a definite edge. Okay. Excuse me. Okay, I'm going to try adding a little more color right in, like in here, some more yellow. A little golden yellow. A little brighter. And remember, I can go across because I'm going to paint the pets in as a shadow figure. The pets will become a shadow figure. Okay. Ah, yes, I like that color better. Add a little white maybe with it on top. Okay. Oh, let's see. I need some more white on my plate. Looks like I've really dove into the white today. I want to make some of these look like trees, more like trees that are up there. So I'm going to take my brush and I'm going to print it. I was trying to teach someone the other day, and I had a hard time getting them to, like, there needs to be a little bit of a point, or maybe if it's not an evergreen and it's around, the tree's rounded on the top, it needs to like depict that some. And bushes, this is a good way to make some bushes. Doesn't have to be exact, but just, you know, just a little more than what the person was trying to do that I was helping. Okay, I'm not going to do very much in here. I might do some things along the edge of the water. And you could spend a long time just, you know, like layering these. I mean, those are things that I have done. I have gone back and after I got the basics in like this, I would go back and add a lot more details to some of my paintings. Because I'm just wanting you to get something completed. Sometimes just completing something is just good. It just feels good. And then you can always go back in and add extra, you know, extra things that you want to along the way. That is definitely a good thing to do. Then we want our shadows in the water here. Sometimes you can actually see the color. Sometimes it's more of a darkness. We're going to put it in as a little bit of color, and then we're going to come across it with some additional color. All right. Now, one thing I've done when I've let trees dry, and then I've come back in and with a fine line pen of some kind, it helps if it's permanent, or even a pencil, and I've drawn some of the little branches that you might be able to see there. Just, you know, just a few to indicate it. One of the paintings I did, actually, like, it was what I call lineage art, but it was about the generations of a family. So I drew little people back in there. Just kind of a little bit of a kind of a stick figure, but when you're so far back, you don't really see all the details like you do when you're up further. Okay, I would like to add in some more brilliant colors, I think, in the water. And I would like to add in the tree. So probably I should dry this a little bit and add in the trees so it can be drying while I do some of the additional coloring on it. make the tree fairly dark because we want it to still be kind of that shadowy look. And then we can put a little bit of darker green on the leaves. So we're going to start the tree down here. It needs to be planted in this. It needs to go up the side here and then just kind of branch out. All right, so I'm going to mix a little black. I'm going to mix a little black and a little brown together. Now sometimes on those kind of things, you can actually go back in later and you can add a little more, or even while you're doing it if you've got more time than we do, to add some texture that a tree would have. Sometimes when I do a painting of a tree with a tree in it, I bring in a piece of tree trunk for people to observe and look at and just kind of see how the shading is. So you might go outside and take a look. Take a look at a tree trunk. My son-in-law would say, take a look at a specific tree trunk. He's a guy that knows a lot about the woods. I used to know all that. Back in Tennessee, my mother would take walks with us in the woods, and she would teach us all about those trees. Well, then I came and lived in the city for all those years, and I didn't quite remember all that. I was too busy. Too busy with a different part of life. So now I'm trying to relearn some of that and maybe learn more. See, if you load your brush with both colors, then sometimes you can get the different tones coming in. So sometimes when I'm concentrating on part of this, it's a little harder to tell stories than other times. A lot of people laugh and say I have the gift of gab. It might be true. It just might be true. But I had parents that were both teachers, and when you're a teacher, you got to talk to the public some, just how it is. So I learned it from them. Okay, we're getting there. We are getting there. Of course, there's a jillion, trillion limbs and leaves we could put on this tree. We'll just put some, and then you can decide to leave it like this, or you can add more at your leisure. You can rewatch some of this. What is your favorite lake? What is your favorite lake to go to? You might write that in the comments. And what pet would you take with you there? I actually like to go out to my daughter and son-in-law's place. They say their pond is almost to the big enough that technically it could be called a lake. And it is beautiful sometimes. And the cool thing about that is there's not people out there except the people you already know. So if you get a chance sometime to go with someone who owns a small body of water, pond, or small lake, go. It's a whole different feeling than the other way. All right, now I want to see if I can add after these have dried, I want a few more brilliant colors on top, I believe. I think I would like that. See if I can add a little bit of. Of course, you look at the sunset one moment, you turn around and look at it the next moment, and it's different. Do you like the sunset better, or do you like watching the sunrise? Or maybe looking at the moon? I think I'm a sunrise person, but then I like to get up early. Right now I'm getting up real early and trying to work on my computer, all those files. I got way too many old school files from all my art projects I've taught, and genealogy. I like genealogy a lot, and I have a lot of it. I have a lot of it. Sometimes they call us that keep those things the keepers. We keep some of the things other people don't. But I'd also like to get some things in the point where someone who came behind me might enjoy it a little bit. That's my goal at this point in life. Okay, just trying to blend her down. Blend her down. So on this one, you might, if you get too much water going there, you might want to just take your paper towel, blend some of it back out. Don't rub too hard, but rub hard enough. I want to make sure they can see this nice, pretty sun as it goes down. Okay, now I want to get in here and I think I want to go ahead and do the black on the shadows of the pets. Are you a cat person or a dog person? I might be a neither person on that. I like to travel, so I don't want the responsibility of a pet. However, I do babysit for the grand dog sometimes. He's okay. Okay, I need to switch to a smaller brush for that tail. Okay. Now I think I need my dog to be just a tad taller in comparison to the cat. Paint, 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 paint. I sure do like to paint. Paint, 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 paint. I sure do like to paint. Hope you enjoyed my little hat I wore at first. I like to dress up when I do these. Just a little more fun added to it. All right. I'm going to pull this out a little bit more like his ears. Okay. Then they need a little bit of a shadow here. So we're going to draw like this. Mostly the cat's ears sticking up, a little bit like this. A little bit like this. Okay, then I'm going to take a mostly dry brush, I think, and just kind of blend that in lighter because we don't want it to be real dark. I waited long enough that some of it got dry. See, I still, gonna lose my brushes here. Yeah, even if you start with a circle, sometimes it doesn't turn out, and you got to keep refining it. All right, I want to add some grass bushes along the side of the pets. And they're going to just be toned down a bit because the sun's going down. we're just making it right along. It's just coming around. So sometimes you see what I did, I just rubbed some of that back out. I'm going to kind of just fade some of this a little bit. I've taken a clean brush, just kind of going back over what we did. All right. Okay, so I'm going to let this dry a little bit more, and then I'm going to come back over. I want to fade it back out just a tad. Just a tad. All right, I'm going to turn it upside down. So we're turning the painting upside down. And we're going to make some leaves on the tree. All right. I want them to be a little bit of green with them, but I also want there to be a presence of the brown, indicating that it's getting darker with it. So I'm going to see what I can do. Which brush do I want to use? I'm just thinking about my brushes and how I can lay them on the side, and let's get the painting back a little bit. Let's just see what happens if I use this one. Oh, that one might be all right. Then if I wanted a few of them pointed, I could add a little bit more later. All right, so I'm gonna do brown and green. So I've got quite a bit of brown. I'm gonna go back in with green. And I'm going to just go in and do, they don't have to exactly touch the limb because there would be some smaller limbs there. But just somewhere in and around, maybe on top of. Some of them would be because those little limbs would just be all around. And that's something that would be a good add-on. If you wanted to add on to this painting after it dried, to use a pencil or a colored pencil to make some of those little limbs that we know are on trees that would be hard to do with a paintbrush. Okay. Trying to lay my brushes out here so I don't end up getting one on my painting. I'm going to round this a little more. And just kind of, because the colors kind of fade into the water some. Okay, and then I'm going to take, I'm just going to go down around and do some of the fine work. It's like I think right here, if I made the dog just a little bit bigger, because we've got that little line there where we don't have the reflection in the water. I think that might be a good choice of something to improve it. So right now I'm looking for ways, how can I improve what I've got started? And what do I need to add to it? Now these little edges like this could also be done with a Sharpie or some other kind of permanent thin line marker. There's lots of different kinds out there. I just taught in a time when there weren't very many choices of those. Okay, now I think I want to see if I could get that color right there and try to bring it over a bit. If I put white on this, I might be able to get there. See if I can just take it over a bit. Little water, I just dip. I don't stir, I dip in. Okay. See, there's a teeny bit of orange up there in the sky. Let's put just a, well, I thought I touched the orange, just a tad of orange down in here. Okay. Okay, just going back in and adding a little more color. Certainly one of those paintings that you need to get back from, kind of see what it's looking like. Yeah, I'm gonna see about like right in here, just kind of adding a little bit of lines across. I want a few more like that on the other side. Try a little bit of, just a little bit of red, I think, like right in here. Okay. Okay, I think. Let's see, I think I want to do a little bit more down here. And then I think we'll be about finished. Okay, now the deal's going to be to get enough across here. I want it to blend into the painting a little more, but I still want to see a little bit of this. So it's a very delicate balance that I need there. So I stuck my paint in the, on the tray. The brush had a little bit of water to begin with. And I'm just going to see if I can streak, because I'd rather streak lightly and then come back. With a little more. See, I still think I need to just keep bringing a little more in. Just want to do it a little bit at a time. A little more at a time. Okay, we're getting there. We're getting there. Starting to like it more and more. This is one that the first time I did it, I worked on. I had it laying in the office floor drying while I was working on some other paintings, because that's where I had my studio set up to paint the acrylics. And I came back and I did it, and then I came back and I did it. It took me several different times to get it where I really, really liked what I'd done. Okay. All right. Well, there's certainly some differences. I like some things better in the first one, some things better in the last one. It's kind of how paintings go. And I think it was interesting when I was reading about and learning some more about those famous artists and how many times they actually did something. It's like, whoa, whoa. So, you know, we think they just were that good to begin with. Well, they practiced a little. They also had a few techniques that they stuck in here or there that they don't always tell us about. So, all right. Well, here's the original. Here's the one I just completed with you. This is Sarah Poff, and that's a wrap.